And I think powerful knowledge is a good way to answer that question. The two words, powerful and knowledge, are everyday words that we all understand. But put them together in a way that a British sociologist called Michael Young has done, makes it a technical term. I mean, it's capital P and capital K. And in brief, what Michael Young's arguing, which is very interestingly quite different from what he was arguing nearly 40 years ago, when he wrote one of the most influential books in British education, which was called Knowledge and Control, where he talked about the knowledge of the powerful, excluding certain kids from the curriculum. He's almost had a volte-face on that. And he said, what's really important is that all young people, in order to fulfill their potential and be able to fulfill or take choices in their life, need access to powerful knowledge. And he acknowledges that for many young people that might be quite challenging. Why? Well, let's see what powerful knowledge is. And the first thing that I think is important is to make the distinction between what he calls powerful knowledge and everyday knowledge. We all have knowledge and we can gain it very, very simply in our everyday lives. And I think one of Michael's questions is to what extent is everyday knowledge and everyday geography, let's call it, becoming a too important idea in the curriculum that we offer kids. Because Michael would say, why would we send children to school simply to learn what they already know through their everyday lives? Schools have a sacred purpose to do something more than that, and that's to induct kids into this thing called powerful knowledge. So he makes that distinction. Powerful knowledge is not everyday knowledge. And in what ways is it not? Well, powerful knowledge is often abstract. It's often theoretical. It's often counterintuitive. In other words, it needs to be taught. You can't just pick it up from the supermarket. So that's the first thing. The second thing you would say is that powerful knowledge has a high degree of systematicity. That's a word from Vygotsky, I think. What it means is that it's connected. And that's what disciplines do. They enable knowledge to accrete and develop in a systematic way through models and theories and so on and so forth. So that's an important aspect of powerful knowledge. And finally, Michael would very strongly emphasize that it is specialized. It comes from specialist communities, such as the disciplines that we're working on. And what we would propose is that geography is such a specialized discipline. And the argument is that young people need to be introduced to disciplines because that gives just an insight. And for some kids it might not be much, but at least a foothold into this idea of how better knowledge is made. How knowledge, what we think we know, is challenged, how it's tested, how it's argued about, how sometimes it can be set aside because there are theoretical developments or findings that supersede what we thought we knew. I suppose what we're saying in Geocapabilities is that the geo of Geocapabilities needs to focus very hard on what it is that we're claiming geographical knowledge actually contributes to this notion of a capable individual. Ultimately, of course, it's the notion of the Earth as an object of study which is important in terms of our relationship with it and with each other on it. And without that sort of knowledge, hard-won knowledge, then we're slightly disempowered. In other words, our capability is deprived in some sort of way. You could make the same claims probably for history or science, and that's fine. But we're talking about geography. Is that okay for the moment?
Yeah.
David, could you give more?
I'm afraid.